Hi guys, I'm Kat Farrance and I'm founder of Movement for Modern Life, and you have caught me in my beautiful garden on a springtime evening, and I must say that I think that gardening is one of the most yogic things that we can all do, because what it does is it connects us to the elements, it grounds us, it connects us to what's real. And also, if you have pets in the garden, that always connects us to a little bit of joy and a dose of reality, because whoever knows what they're going to do. But as gardeners, I think that a lot of people, because I garden quite a bit. I try to grow my own because it's part of sustainability, which is a very important part of yoga. That's a very key yogic principle. So that's kind of what I try to do. But I do know, being a gardener and being somebody who grows my own, yeah, you can get some niggles and stretches and strains from gardening. And one of the key things I think that a lot of folks do is when they garden, because obviously a lot of us spend the time on the earth digging, and that's a brilliant thing to be doing because, again, from a yogic perspective, we're grounding ourselves, we're coming to nature, we're coming to the earth. And in a world, in the modern world, which is just all about, it's all about fast pace, it's all about being in our heads, it's all about technology, it's about things that aren't necessarily real. There is nothing like the ability to ground ourselves to something real, take ourselves out of our heads, take ourselves out of digital technology, and really, yeah, get a sense of what is reality, because this is what it is. But in the process of doing that, I'm going to take that off the puppy. In the process of doing that, I've just dug up a whole new bed. And it's pretty bad on the back. So there are lots of things that can be done. A lot of the time we're spent on the earth, and I think it's interesting that if you look at a lot of other cultures who do spend time sitting, it's not in chairs, they'll spend time in a squat. So the first yogic thing I think that we can try to do as gardeners is develop a comfortable position that's close to the ground. As you can see, I've got a good squat here. Part of it is, I'm not going to lie, it's genetics, how our hips are placed. And some people are able to do this easier than others. But also, I do keep my hips flexible. And there are lots of things that we can do to perfect a squat, which is a very comfortable gardening position, because as you'll see, my back's straight, I don't have a stoop, I'm able to get to the earth without hunching too much. So it's a position which I can sustain. And again, for me, yoga is about sustainability, and gardening should be about sustainability, because this is something that we should all be able to do well into our old age. But it's finding a way of being loose, feeling comfortable with our bodies in order to do that. So the ways that you can start to develop a squat, because what you might find when you first start to come down into a squat is you may find that, for example, your heels lift up, which will make things very unbalanced. And a way of working with this can really be literally get a little prop, get something under your heels so that you can garden with some support, with some heel support. And that can be a much easier way, much easier on your back than, say, kneeling, which is a good way, but often people's knees might struggle. It's quite hard for many of us to kneel comfortably, and also then we're taken into more of a forward bend, which isn't great for rounding on the shoulders. So a nice squat is really recommended. And ways that you can sort of practice your squat, because this is something that is going to take a little bit of practice, can be to simply, you're grounding yourself on your feet and you're coming into, we call it a chair pose. So you're just feeling really nice and stable And obviously this is hard on the thighs, and I'm not going to lie, this isn't going to be fun, but this is a nice way that you can get into your hips and feel that grounding. So the chair pose, it makes a squat something that might be more accessible. Other ways of starting to squat will be starting to squat with one foot. So you can straighten the other leg, and with one leg maybe come into a squat. This is like a skandasana pose in yoga, but it's a more accessible way perhaps of trying it. And then you can try that on the other side. So you're just straightening one leg and the other one is squatting. Again, you may find that you're on your heel, and that's absolutely fine. So if the ground is a long way from your body, bring the ground up to you with a prop. That's the easy thing to do here. So that's the first gardening position that I would recommend. I'm going to move my gardening tools to one side. The other thing that you may find after a day of, for example, weeding or digging, because I've been digging up a potato bed and it takes a lot of work, and as a result the back starts to feel the strain. So there are things that we can do with our hamstrings which can really help to relieve our lower back, I find. And I'll just show you a quick exercise, and this is just a very quick 3 minutes before you start to garden. You can lay on your back. Start off laying on your back here. Beautiful view on a beautiful evening like this. And I'm going to move the doggy. You can take one leg, take your right leg up into the air and stretch it as high as you can. Go on, doggy, out the way. And then you can grasp your hands behind your shin and just stretch your legs towards you. What you're trying to do here is take the toes. You're taking the toes down towards the face, as opposed to pointing it up. So you're taking the toes down, and that's going to stretch out the hamstring really nicely. And here, it's very tempting to bunch up your stomach, but really try to open your chest and breathe very deeply here. And under this blossom tree, it's just a gorgeous thing to do. So I really recommend, before you start gardening, stretch out your hamstrings nicely. And this leg, it may be very tricky for you to keep it straight. Often it is. So you can start with it bent. That's absolutely fine. And then you can feel the grounding in the other leg. If you can straighten that leg comfortably, that's absolutely fine. And then, again, you're trying to keep the hips. You're keeping the hips stable. You're keeping them grounded. You're keeping them so that it seems that they're level with each other, as much as can be. And from here, you can, if you have a dog lead or a dressing gown belt, you can grasp it around your toe. And if not, you can just grasp the back of your heel. And then you can take the left arm out, so you're lying your shoulder comfortably on the ground, and take the right leg to the side. And again, that's just really lovely hip mobilization, and you will find that this will help you with your lower back. Take long, deep breaths. So for example, with the leg up, you can take that for a good 15, 20 breaths. And it's the same, 15, 20 breaths. And then come up, and it can go to the other side. Here, you'll feel it across your IT band. That can be quite a stretch. You may find that your leg is somewhere up here. That's absolutely fine. It's no problem. It's wherever you find your stretch. And if it comes down here, that's fine. You can use your hand to prop it up, or you can let it travel to the floor. But this is just really lovely to relieve any strain on the lower back. And then you can bring it back up and then hug it back in to really help relieve your lower back. It's a very comfortable position, and it will help you with a squat if you can take your leg into your chest. You can squeeze your other leg into the chest and then swap round. So we're going to do exactly the same here. This leg is going to point to the ceiling. It's going to come up there for around 20 breaths. The hands can be loose, they can be behind your shin. You can get a dressing gown belt, you can get a dog lead. It can go around your foot and you can hold it. And you're just breathing there, and you'll feel the stretch on your hamstring. And you're trying to just relax, breathe deeply. And if you're like me, looking at a beautiful blue sky, you're just feeling gratitude for all that is. And for this remarkable human body that we all have. And the whole thing about yoga is let's try and keep everything sustainable. Let's try and make a practice which keeps our bodies able to sustain to do what we want to do. So now I'm taking it out to the side, and I'm going to hold that for about 20 breaths. Again, you may find that your leg is somewhere up here. That's fine. It's no problem. Wherever you are is where you are, and that's a great place to be. You can't start anywhere other than where you are. So you're just breathing deeply here. You're seeing if your hips can align. I'm a little bit on a slope. It doesn't matter. I'm grounded to the earth, that's fine. Taking long, deep breaths. Listening to birdsong. Raising the leg up again. And take it the other side for the IT band stretch. It can be as low as you like. It can be up here. You could hold it. You could wrap your top around the leg. And that's a very nice way of making it a bit more accessible if you don't have a dog lead or a strap of any kind. And again, I'd stay here for about 20 breaths. 20 slow, deep breaths. Inhaling the leg back up. And then tucking it, just giving yourself a nice stretch in again, and the other leg can join here, and you'll feel that your lower back is somehow a little released. And if you want a fun way of getting back, which is going to help release your lower back as well, you can just roll back and forwards a little, and that really does help to stretch out your spine, and it brings a little bit of joy into life, because gosh, isn't life serious enough? And then you can kind of get back up and practice your squats with one leg, with the other leg, and just feeling that lower back a little bit protected, a little bit more mobile. And that's the thing that we really want to focus on as gardeners. Anyway, I hope that's helped. Do join us on movementformodernlife.com if you want to find out a little bit more about yoga. It's a fabulous platform. We've got some world-class teachers teaching on it. And you can find all sorts of things to keep you healthy, happy, and living a more sustainable life. So happy gardening and happy stretching, everyone.